Okay, this is an observation with Jakub. Say hello, Jakub.
Hi.
Say your name, please.
My name is Jakub Korczynski, doing an observation on the 14th of July 2016.
Okay, I'm gonna have to hold it quite close because it's very bright in here. We're talking about copy production, aren't we? Talk about the channels, firstly, the media channels which you as a company write copy onto.
Right, so first of all is our college website. The other sort of sources that we have, or not sources but platforms, is social media, so Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well. Sometimes, not very often, and that's pretty much the main sort of platforms.
The digital ones, anyway.
Yes,
yeah. What sort of style? How do the styles differ between the channels?
Right, so Twitter, you usually keep the messages quite concise and easy to read, as one of the factors is the word character count that you have to keep in mind, the 140 characters. Facebook, you can be more lengthy and more in depth with your messages. Twitter is also quite good for images to include. Facebook is also, but the main differences between the text that you can include, and the website is where you go the most in depth, because you can easily then link the website onto any of the social media platforms.
Well, yeah, and okay. So what are we on today?
Right, so this is the CMS of the college website that I'm on right now, and this is the news section that you can update any news stories that may have happened recently and put them onto the news section of the website. Okay,
so is there any here that you wrote yourself?
Yes, so this one, for example, this was about a month ago now. So if the internet is kind enough to us.
What sort of style do you need to use? I mean, when I say style, I mean what's the language that you need to use as for your market?
You need to be quite, not use any sort of slang words, or not slang words, but any, you have to keep it quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Yes, formal. So you have to be quite formal in the information that you provide. You have to be sort of in depth, use clear language to portray your points, because, well, people that are most interested in our information are just looking to sort of delve into the story rather than, just see a snippet of it and not really go into that much depth with what we're trying to talk about. So, for example, this news story that about a month ago was about a recent performance that the students were involved in at the Mac Birmingham. Mm-hmm. So, as you can see, there's plenty of information about everything that went on and the preparation that went into the performance and stuff like that. So it's all quite formal and quite spread out, the information.
What could be sort of restrictions that you can have of writing copy on a CMS like this?
This particular CMS is quite good for keeping the copy in the same format as you've written it in, but some CMS systems can sort of mess up the copy a little bit once you publish the article. So, for example, the spaces that you include between the paragraphs and such cannot appear in the actual live copy as you've wanted them to appear in the copy that you've initially written. This particular CMS is quite restrictive in what you can actually upload onto the site. So you would be able to upload news stories, events and such, but you wouldn't exactly be able to change the format or the layout that these appear on the website.
Okay. Let's talk about hyperlinks and things like that. Can you show us how you do a hyperlink?
Sure. So on this CMS, you'd highlight any word that you want. Let's say Saturday, for example, here.
Yeah.
And then click this button here to insert hyperlink, insert edit link, and then this box will appear, which currently hasn't got anything. So you'd insert the link URL into this box. So let's, for example, copy this link here.
So it links to itself.
Yep, that's it. Put that in here. a link list, you don't have to involve or include anything in that section, and just click insert, and then it will appear as an underlined blue.
Why is it important to have links onto sites and things like that, and onto articles like this?
It's ease of access for information. It's more neat than sort of having the whole link written out at the bottom or the top of the page or wherever. So yeah, those main things I think.
Okay. How about metadata? Let's talk a little bit about metadata.
Right.
What is metadata and why is it useful?
So metadata is, I imagine, the data that is included behind sort of images and stuff, which makes them easier to search for on browsers. But also, in this case, it's important that we include metadata and images on our social media platforms and the website, because many of those who view this information are visually impaired, so they could use software which will then read out to them what is on the page. And if metadata behind the image is explains what the image is all about, then they can sort of still be able to figure out what the image is portraying.
How about on marketing level? Why is it useful to have metadata as well?
So it improves SEO. It makes the content easier to search for and appear higher up on the search browsers.
So how would you do it on here?
Right. So this image already has metadata behind it. It appears with the description behind it. So what you do is insert. When you go to insert the image, this box appears. Wait for it to load. So choose any image, for example this one, and then in the image description and title boxes here, you will then describe what the image actually, what it shows, the image basically.
Okay.
That will then appear behind the image when it's live.
That's fine. And finally, once your copy's done, your article's done, before it goes out, how do you make sure there's no errors, that kind of thing?
Right, so obviously read through it multiple times to ensure yourself that you've not made any errors. Also pass it on to someone else to read through. For example, in this case, I would pass it on to my line manager, who then reads through it, makes any changes that he thinks are appropriate and approves it, and then puts it out live. Also, you can utilize any, if on the CMS that you use there are any spell checks available, for example, then you could utilize that also.
Okay.